Okay, y'all. Ending war needs to be the number one priority, whether you're Republican, Democrat, or Green. And Greens, I'm unfairly lumping y'all in. I'm just saying Green, just because it's a climate concern. Okay, don't not trying to tick you off there. Republicans, $2 trillion in the war on terror. That was several years ago. Um, Al Qaeda's bigger than it now than it was then. Okay, there's less stability. There's more terror groups to be mad at us there, and yeah, you haven't had another 9/11 over here since then. They have tried to make attacks, they have failed, but OBL's stated objective was to pull the United States into an endless war and bankrupt it. We're on that track, y'all. Not that's it was dumb the way that they did it. So expensive, $2 trillion, creating a whole bunch of veterans that have suicide issues. Y'all love veterans. Let's help them by not creating so many. Democrats, liberals, you fancy yourselves, and humanitarians. War kills people, and it kills mostly innocents. That is true in every war, and it's getting more true. The proportion of innocents being killed is like 90%. Okay, it kills very few soldiers, and I would debate with you on whether they're innocent or not. I would say that they're a lot more innocent than the politicians that live. Uh, but it's killing people, right? To no good end. Libya is worse off than it was under Gaddafi. Iraq, worse off than it was under Saddam. Yemen, worse off than it was before the United States decided to start aiding the Saudis in their war. Switching sides, by the way, y'all want to talk about treason? The U.S. is fighting on the side of Al Qaeda in Yemen. Um, and you can see details of that on antiwar.com. You can look it up. And this, actually, my next issue here should touch on something that Democrats claim to care about too, but Greens definitely care about, and that is the climate. That is environment. War is a major pollutant. It is a major contributor to carbon emissions. The Pentagon emits more carbon than Portugal. The Pentagon emits more carbon than Portugal. And not the building, but the Pentagon, that organization that it represents. And to what end? Killing people, mostly innocent people, and making people worse off, and knocking the developing world back. The developing world is going to have high carbon emissions, or they're going to starve to death. So every time you knock them back, what do? You prolong the period where they're going to have high carbon emissions. That's what you do. So why isn't ending war all y'all's priority? Why aren't y'all screaming at the top of your lungs, we need to end these wars? Republicans, you can redeploy these resources, or you can argue to not spend so much money and you can reduce the debt. Democrats, you can argue to redeploy these resources to expand your Dreamers program, or to help the homeless, or to forgive student loans. That's a win for both of y'all. Greens, this can be redeployed to developing other sources of energy. It needs to be nuclear, y'all. Sorry, I had to take the shot. So why aren't y'all screaming from the rooftops? Why are y'all talking about 1/6? 5 people. Let's just not even argue about how many people died from it. It's 5. Let's triple that to make it 15. You kill twice that many in a drone strike, and 9 out of 10 of them are innocents. The fact that y'all aren't arguing constantly to end war tells me, I don't know, y'all aren't paying attention. Please start paying attention. And the number one thing to do, it'll take all y'all a few minutes, call 1-833-STOP-WAR. I don't know the numbers that correspond to that. If you're worried about that, if you're, I don't know what number that is, just do a Google search, or, if you're a Republican, do DuckDuckGo. If you're Green, you're stuck on the internet, man. I'm sorry. You have to use the internet and contribute to the carbon emissions. But call that number. It will run you through. You'll be able to contact your Congress people. And you can tell them, hey, let's stop supporting this war in Yemen. There's no reason for it. They're the poorest people in the world. So Republicans, you're wasting money killing poor people. They can't hurt you. The Democrats, you are killing poor people. You're supposed to love poor people. Greens, you're destroying the environment. Those are your angles of argument. But argue according, as Scott Horton has said, argue according to whoever you're calling. So if you're calling a Republican, argue from the Republican. I gave you the argument there. Argue. If you're calling a Democrat, argue from the Democrat. If you're calling a Green, argue from the Green. All right, y'all? Please. People are dying. Really dying. It's not speculative, y'all. It's happening. And it's been happening for 2 decades. It's time for it to end. You can help. Please do.